Hello. Good morning, or good morrow, or whatever they say. Uh, back in the day. Let's see if I can just get that just right there. So, good morrow to you all, and work shirts. Here we are. Nice white shirt for a positively, I believe, hot day outside. So, anyway. So yes, sorry for the constant start and stops. The latest videos, I had to delete like 500 photos I use for my work to keep track of what I do with my deliveries. If someone's home, blah blah, I have to write it down. Anyway, so with that out of the way, this should be uninterrupted and be the final part of this little rant. But anyway, I came across a video yesterday, which is kind of glad that I did, or that had happened to me, because I came across a video that had articulated everything I felt into proper words. But like I was kind of saying earlier, but not really too well, it's an actor or creator's job to make you feel while going along on this narrative journey. It's how you make them feel, and sometimes make them think. It's like, that's something to ponder. Now, what Hollywood is more of, we tell you how to think. We tell you how to feel. It's like, no, that's not your job. Your job is not to tell us anything. It's like that the opening scene in Serenity, which is the movie end of Firefly. Telling them how to walk, don't run, because we're not telling them what to think, we're telling them how to think, or something like that. It's it's a lot more condescending, it's a lot more controlling, it's a lot more, talking down to someone, as if suddenly a fair number, not all, but a fair number of actors are using this, their position as like a platform to lecture the world, to be aware of things. Like, they're aware, they have people telling them stuff. Trust me, people are aware. Save the whales, and all that. And quite frankly, putting up a blockade because you want to spread the word of the environment, no, you're just pissing people off when you blockade the people who are going to Burning Man. Criminy. That's just, you see the line of people, of traffic you clogged up, and you're like, we're saving the world, we're making people aware. It's like, these people are on their way for a weekend of intense rainstorm anyway, but they didn't know that. They didn't know that going into this. Still, honestly, I wouldn't have stopped them. Hindered them to a certain degree on some things, but honestly, if it was me, much like them, I really doubt that would have stopped them from having a damn good time. So, having Hollywood stars, kind of use their 30 seconds at the podium, when they accept an award, to, instead of like the guy says, thank your God, thank your manager, accept your little award, then, move on. And Hollywood's gotten in this weird place, and it's become a very condescending, let's be, tell people stuff as if they have an authority on these things. It's like, no, you don't. You're an actor. Please do not insult our intelligence in thinking you have a higher intelligence. And it's like, no, just no. I'm sorry. Just no. It's like, we're here to accept this award about this movie, about a thing, and it's like, but I want to let you know that I am helping African children. And it's like, okay, what? Please help support the African children. okay, I'm sorry, you're here to accept an award, and you're using. See, it gets into this thing of ego. There's a lot of ego going on around in Hollywood. Anyway, so hopefully to come this thing to a conclusion. Hollywood has now realized that being egocentric, being woke, being everything it's been for the past like almost 10 years or so is not profitable because people do not like being talked down to. They don't like being told what to do. They don't like seeing people be egocentric. And what's her face, who's up for, or was originally, I don't know how that's going, up for to be, Snow White. So yes, you have, at times you have to modernization things because, of course, okay. To show you modernization of girl power, because it was a thing back in the 90s, back when all this started. Jasmine from Little Mermaid. Sorry. Jasmine, Little Mermaid. Ugh. Sorry. Jasmine from Aladdin. I'm a Disney fan and I'm getting this wrong. Jasmine from Aladdin. The reason she's more independent is because that was the thing at the time, is to not just have her be the damsel. That's incredibly boring. Much like back in the day in the Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, what was her name? Sandy, Joey? Damn, I forget what her name was, but the girl, the one that screams a lot. When you get older, you kind of realize, yeah, she does scream a lot. That is rather annoying, and that's kind of what the damsels in distress were, but you kind of had to keep them along with you throughout the adventure, because the adventures weren't the original shorts, they're theatrical. So when you got to have the standard damsel in distress there for longer than 5 minutes, it gets rather grating feature length where all she does is scream. And yes, it's also what Vicky Vale in Batman 1989 does, is she screams a lot. She does try to be her own independent girl to a certain degree, yes. But a lot of the things she does is she screams at, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy. So that's basically what she does throughout most of the film, other than being led around by a bunch of guys in the thing fighting over her. It's like, yes, we know, but what else is she supposed to do? She's not an action hero. She's the photographer character / love interest. So it's not exactly a whole. So she's not a woman of action. She's the photographer. So you kind of have to work with what you get. So yeah, you're going to be stuck with her. But I didn't dislike her or think lesser of her. I did think less of the singer lady from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as I grew up, because it's like, seriously, that's all she does. She doesn't really. She's the sidekick character. Kind of like, I got more out of Vicky Vale, because Vicky Vale had more emotional moments than the singer did from Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. So yeah, it's a righter way and a wronger way to do things when you're stuck as the sidekick character, damsel in distress. So in the 90s, when we got, girl power, okay, cool. Jasmine, she has wants, she has desires, she doesn't want to be, well, the princess. She doesn't want to be the prize. What Adam says, you're not something, what's it he says? You're not just something to be acquired or won or something like that. He respects her as her own person. Hell, even in the cartoon series, when that was put to the test of their love, when Jasmine was turned into a snake lady, I forget which one, but snake lady, Aladdin near the end of it says, well then fuck it, I'll just pour this, the shampoo or whatever it was that was doused with the evil cursed stuff that turns them into snake people, turns himself into a snake person just to stay with her. So it was a very interesting episode. I liked it. That's why it's memorable after 30 years. Anyway, so Jasmine was done kind of well. She doesn't really take over the movie, but she does show strong independence capability, a woman of action. So when we see her get captured or contained, it's like, okay, yes, that makes sense. It's magic. You can't really fight that. And Aladdin, in his gymnastics, is barely staying ahead of Jafar when he's all magical and shit. So, yes, being captured by magic and not by, men too much, the manhandling or whatever, it kind of makes sense. So you don't feel like she's weak or incapable. You see her capability. But when you're going up against magic, it's kind of a bit of a tall hurdle to get over. So, yes, Jasmine is a good amount of girl power, woman of action, and being the damsel in distress. She is the one that needs to be rescued because she is the thing the two men are fighting over. Yes, but it's done right, or at least a lot more of the right ways. It's okay. It's a good balance to it. As opposed to now, where Jasmine is, oh wait, I have cough cough 2,000 or 10,000 years ago in the Middle East rights. Is this supposed to be historically accurate, or is this just supposed to be just straight up bullshit? I'm sorry. What are you going with here, movie? Because no, just no. Just a song about it. I have a voice. You do? In that setting? No. You're not. You cannot take to again. People, if you make a period piece, you kind of have to stick to the times. And back then, neither you gave yourself the hero or you were given to the hero, or supposed champion. Let's not say hero here. Champion of the people. People keep getting so damn upset about it. Well, it was a different time. So people said, it was a different time. Like, it was socially acceptable to have slaves. Yes, because everyone at the time thought that was a good idea. People thought alcohol was okay until they thought it wasn't. Then we had prohibition, and then we brought it back saying, okay, never mind then. It was socially acceptable to I don't know, have Coke parties or something like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of different decades have different things. That's why they were that decade. Things were in vogue until it wasn't. Things come and go, wax and wane. But now things are leaning so hard to one direction that it's just simply intolerable. Because it's like, why? You're adding modern day societal outlooks and norms to something you're completely separated or divorced from, or whatever, from such a far, far away, different time and a different location on the planet, to a completely different social structure, society, and think, I'll interject that into here. Hey, why not? And that will work. It's like, no. It's like, again, like Doctor Who saying putting a submarine in 1917 or something, England, it does not work. It can't. And yet people say it does because they want positive wokeness in their fictional period piece. You get it? It doesn't work. Same reason why they say when you go back in time, you can't give new technology to a past civilization. It'll fuck shit up. It's like that. Where it's like, in... What was it? I just remembered right now. I was going to say Hank, we'll say, like, in Roots, when that kid holds up his hand and you see the digital watch, like, how out of place is that? Or the coffee cup in Game of Thrones. It's like that. It doesn't compute because it doesn't belong. It's an outside alien element in a fictional time, in a fictional story nonetheless, but in a period piece was supposed to be, some time ago. That is not supposed to be there. It just doesn't. I hope I'm, hope I'm arguing my point well, because I don't want to waste anyone's time. But that's the thing. To tell a good story, to tell a convincing story, all the elements have to make sense. If you're working with a different decade, you have to contort to the societal norms of the time. Yes, people dressed in brightly colored outfits in the 80s. Granted, that was in pretty much only in LA, but yeah, that's why the 1980 film, you know, uh, um, Beverly Hills Cop goes to LA and shows LA, and why LA feels very 80s is because it was made in the 80s, you know. Uh, uh, and a lot of the movies made now, you know, it shows this sense of wokeness, girl power. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if there's too much of it, and if it's trying to shove that down your throats of how ridiculously overpowered and non trained these female characters are, and it's like, I don't need to train. I'm awesome already as I am. Well, that's not a story. When Schwarzenegger plays his characters, you say, yeah, we pick him up in the modern time of wherever the story takes place in, but we get a sense of what his past history was. When he was in Commando, you know, when he's ripped, you know, when he was Schwarzenegger carrying that log, you know, we are told in the story and narrative that he was a military person. So when we see him kick ass, then that makes sense that he was trained. Everything that they say suggests this. As opposed to now, when they say, well, you know, I can kick ass. It's like, were you trained? Well, I mean, I practice some gymnastics and stretches in the morning, but I can kick all the ass. It's like, unless you were trained for 10 years or whatever, you know, in a militant or whatever, by the army or something, that doesn't make any sense. You know, it just, you know, again, like with, what's her name? Fucking, ugh, Marvel character, the Miss Marvel. Sorry, just a couple of Marvels, so it gets kind of annoying. But Miss Marvel, you know, or it's like, I'm back from India with my bullshit time travel Indian adventure, and I'm wearing and I know and I know, you know, my epic parkouring skills, and now I'm wearing a girdle. Oh, I'm sorry, you mastered parkour while running for your life. Yes, I see that. Yes, truly outrageous. A fantasy. Yeah, bullshit. Like, no. I refuse to believe that you've mastered, you know, epic parkour and training with your powers while running for your life. Please. As Joe Bob Biggs would say, El Barfo. Come on now, people. This is supposed to be fiction, not bullshit. You know. But let's look at the other side. Let me look at my library and try to find some other BS that, you know, on the male side. Let's see here. None. They all explained themselves. The story suggested it. That it's built up. It has a logic to it. That there's a reason they can do with what they do. It isn't just bullshit so the sake of, you know, being powerful. No, they have backstories. They have training. They have brains, you know. What, do you think the kids from god damn it, what's the one? The one where explorers, or the quest, or um, oh okay, uh, that's the only two I can think of off the top of my head that have you know, that have technology to them. You know, some level of creativity and capability. You know, they had geniuses with them, and in the quest, he was the genius because he was like the one kid, but The point is we see their genius. These people are smart. They are capable. Then we have the little fictional kind of, you know, short bridge of, okay, now they have dreams where they're fed information. Okay, but we still have the waking part with the genius to actually make it a reality. Because he actually knows more than the other two boys, do about technology and circuits and all that. So, we there is something to substantiate their claim that they are capable of doing what they do in the film. It has to. This, they just say, she's already mastered it. From where? By doing what? What did these female characters do that say they're this powerful? In Captain Marvel, she was blasted by the cosmic cube. Okay. And she says, well, we trained you. Okay. And remember, this isn't, we see a training session, and it's like, okay, kinda, sorta, sure, okay, I'll buy it. She has been trained. All right. Why does this still feel like cringe? Because that's kind of like the last time they ever really put any effort into that. Everyone else is more of, I walked through the hex. Now I got superpowers. I don't need to train. Wow, I put on a bangle. I have superpowers. Don't really need to train. Like, she does it for like 5 minutes for a montage, and then runs for her life throughout the rest of it, and then masters it. You see what I'm getting at here? They don't bother to put in the effort. They kind of did for Captain Marvel. They bothered to explain it a bit. But then after that, yeah, she says, well, I just need to stand up. Totally fine. Really? And it looked like much of a struggle there, kid, when he stood up, and shrugged off the shackles of that weird quarter-size thing on the back of your neck. Yeah, that looked real difficult. Sure. Then after that, with each other superpowered person, it's just, here's the superpowers. You're already fine. You already, mastered it. Therefore, at the end, boom, done. Bye. See you next installment. I'm not joking. That's basically what they do. They already have a handle on the powers. They already know what to do. They're already great at it. Like, you just got your superpower 5 minutes ago, and you're already like, hey, I'm already better at it. Don't need any training whatsoever. I was human 5 minutes ago. Now I got superpowers. I'm already professional at it. What? Yeah. So, yeah. Even Wanda was never really 100% good at it. That's why she was a lot more compelling character. Whatever. So, but now Hollywood is reaping what they're sowing, and now they're finally getting it through their thick skulls that maybe being woke and doing all the checklistings is not in their best interest, because now it affects their bottom line. A movie, I don't know if I talked about this earlier, but not a good movie, but a rather interesting movie, which I just also saw a review for. It's like, I was telling other reviewers to please review this, and suddenly Decker Shadows suddenly reviews it. I'm like, I don't recall asking him to do that, but thanks anyway. The Wizards of Speed and Time. No, Space and Time, but no, it's Speed and Time. It shows, like, independent creators who or special effects artists who want to break into the biz. They want a job, but then they're stuck by red tape because of unions. So everything's all about unions, and everything's like, we just want to make a short. Jeez, it's like 5 minutes of special effects, really loosely based storytelling, but yeah, that's it. And so they can't even do that. They can't go out and do something. They got to have permits and this and that and other things. It's like, so it's a very it means a lot more now than it did because of everything going on with the strike and everything. You know, Hollywood just does not know how to foster, you know, creativity. It's all about corporate mandates and memos and corporate meddling, you know, and not paying your writers enough again. I know it's been like almost 20 years since, or whatever, since 2008, but for the love of God, stop fucking this shit up and just pay these people. I don't understand why it's so difficult for you. You make millions and billions of dollars. You can't pay these people, you know, a proper wage. Like, really. And I don't quite understand, but some reviewers are when they take up sides with the writers. Okay, but then they say that somehow affects their viewing habits or reviewing habits. I'm like, why should it? It's just a review. It's like, well, apparently whatever logical reason they have, they said that just affects their reviewing, you know, lineup. It's like, okay. I honestly don't see how, but if that's why they want to play it, then fine. That's how they want to play it. And so we're seeing that this strike is not really helping anyone, but it's another thing Hollywood has to pay attention to in order and resolve it in a timely manner. Even though it's going on month 6 now or something like that, but it's like Hollywood got to get its shit together and stop doing everything it's doing now, because it's all wrong. You know, it's all wrong. You know, it's like just make a film. Just make a film. That's it. No bullshit politics. No check boxes. No graphs. No charts. You know, you're making art. It's like, well, we're making art. We're making money. Oh, well, clearly we're making money. But that's not your goal. That's not your aim, is to make money. Your aim is to make art. You know? And eventually, at some point, if it doesn't find its audience now, it will find its audience. Everything that was once no one gave a shit about became this big national treasure later on. Ed Wood, I forget, but numerous others that I've come across, I've heard about. What's his name? Rudy Ray Moore, you know, Dolomite. You know, no one believed in him. And that's the thing with Hollywood, is that when you make something with heart, the audience will, if they're not available yet, they will be. You know. And sometimes it takes a medium transfer to do so. Doesn't do well in theaters. It's fantastic on home video in the 90s. You know, there were old things. What was it? The Big Lebowski, again, didn't do well in theaters, if I recall correctly, but did massively on home video and has a massive following. They have conventions about these things. Yeah, it was just a one-off film that spawned all that. You know, there's no identity politics. It was just telling a bizarre story, which has one plot hole that I'm still questioning about. Is how does the kid factor into stealing the dude's car? You know, was he the one who stole it? Was it his brother or friend or something? I don't know. I don't know. But you know, the thing about Hollywood is you're supposed to be making art. But somewhere along the way you lost your way and said, no, we're making money. Bottom line, moolah. No. And you know, and like I said before, and about the, you know, Mark Hamill said it doesn't matter if it's a good film, as long as it makes money, then they're fine with it. But that's not what's supposed to be made. It's supposed to make a movie people want to see. You know, good art, a good film. That's about all I need to say about that. So Hollywood looks like it's on the mend because it's crashing like a house of cards. The identity politics just ain't working. Because if no one likes your product, no one's going to buy your product. Doesn't matter if it has Marvel or Star Wars slapped on top of it. You screw up your franchise enough, people just aren't going to care anymore. I don't care anymore. So, you ain't getting my money there, Disney. And I'm thinking you're not getting a lot of other people's money either. So until Hollywood gets its shit together and fixes its problems, well, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I'm very hungry. I need to go eat. All right. So until next time, fair, faithful viewer, take care, and hopefully to see you in line at a much better, non-woke, non-political themed movie. See ya. Bye. Oh, I'm getting lightheaded. Gotta go.